everybody, welcome back to another episode of this podcast that is called Funny Girl Abroad. I am Aliki. You see, every time I have to share information, I stop for a second. It's always hard for me to remember basic facts about myself and my environment. I want to talk today about something that is very important when it comes to life abroad. It's one of the first things that everybody thinks about and considers, and that is, of course, you guessed it, wild animals. You know, this is an important thing because wherever you live, you have a little bit of an audit of all the animals that you're going to encounter in your daily life. You expect to see a cat, and you know what's dangerous and what's not dangerous. And sure, we live in places where there's dangerous animals around, but we're aware and we trust the structures and we trust the walls and the agreements. We trust the agreements we've made with those wild animals. There have been agreements, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know when they happened or how, or if the animals have understood them, but they know that they exist. I mean, when have you walked and crossed paths with, like, a bear? The bear knows not to go in town. How does the bear know? I have no idea. But she knows, and I'm so impressed by that. I'm so shocked and impressed by how do bears know when to stop walking. How do they know that, like, okay, gas station, things start to get a little bit not nice for me? How does she know? I have no idea, but it works. It works because otherwise there would be, all sorts of animals inside the cities, and there are not. So we're doing something correctly. Something is working in this relationship. And it bugs me, it really does, because, I mean, I understand the city is not a natural environment, but there are so many things in the city that would be fantastic for those animals that are avoiding the city. I mean, think about the produce. Why don't you come here? We have this big room that is filled with apples, just different kinds of fruits. Fruits you've never tried in your life, and they're from a different country and been seeded here. All your favorite fruits, Mr. Bear, are in the supermarket, we have them. And they're in good lighting, and you can see all of them and try all of them. And try some free cheeses while you're at it. There's the squirrel. Squirrels are, running around the city always, a little fast, a little excited, crossing the street faster than any pedestrian in the history of the universe. And, I feel that they like the atmosphere, because squirrel is a nervous, fast, stressed kind of animal, and they really merge with the city, they really fit in. So what I'm trying to say here, basically, is that in the place where you live, of course there are all those dangerous animals around, potentially dangerous, but you don't think about them, you don't care. You're gonna be fine, because you've also been fine for that many years, so, well, reasonably, it's gonna continue being that way. You have other things to worry about, not the animals. But when you go to a different country, the fear kicks in, because you don't know what kind of animals they have there. And there are some countries that have some pretty dangerous animals. There are some countries that have animals in great populations that can devour and rip you apart. And that is very unsettling to think about. I am from Greece. We don't have dangerous animals, really. The most dangerous animals we have is probably some super, super intense mosquitoes that really need to suck you dry, and can never die. You think you got them, but you didn't. You're almost completely sure that you just eviscerated this mosquito. The mosquito is somehow still there, and it's not gonna leave. I mean, it's a bad situation, but I wouldn't describe it as dangerous. And so when I was making the choice to move to Sweden, one of the first things I did was to check what are the wild animals and what are the potentially dangerous animals, because I needed to know. Because, well, I'm afraid of dangerous and wild animals. I can't fight them. I can't reason with them. I can't scold them, I can't make them feel guilty. Already we have like some of my best moves are already out. So I'm in a really vulnerable position here. So I don't know what to do. I have to at least be prepared. I mean, if there were too many dangerous animals, maybe I would even not consider it at all. Now, is this a bit of an exaggeration to have it like one of the first things that you have to do to go look through wild animals? Probably, potentially, maybe one could call it an excessive fear. I don't think that this is excessive because the fear is about something that is really pretty freaking bad, right? Like being devoured and ripped apart and poisoned. How is this an excessive fear? If I don't leave the house out of fear of being ripped apart by a tiger, but I live in Iceland, then how did the tiger make, like, she get on the plane or something? Did she swim? You see. So this I understand, sure, I'm exaggerating, the fear is excessive. But otherwise, I don't think the fear is excessive at all. I think the fear is completely reasonable and actually very well grounded. And I'm very proud of myself for taking the right measures and looking through every single potentially dangerous animal that might exist in Sweden, in the country where I'm going. You have to do this, you need to know. Don't you want to know? Don't you want to know what kind of horrible death you're heading towards? I was actually a bit relieved, a bit satisfied. Not that many dangerous animals, and not that many, like, bad experiences or bad, nasty headlines. If families are being torn apart every day by bear attacks, somebody would have said something about it, right? Didn't see anything written. Anything talked about, no songs, no poems. So I assumed that we're fine. The most that I saw was a headline that was about a particular incident in Sweden in 2008. I remember that. And it was about a deer that was found in a supermarket by the banana stand. Did they say that or did I add that? Maybe I added that with my imagination, I don't really remember. But yeah, so it happened. They found us. The animals figured out where we keep all the most delicious food that they're trying to hunt and find in the wild. And they can just come and get it. And they don't even have to pay, because we know they don't have money, so we're not gonna ask for it. The article said that they are bumped a guy. Which sounds so vague. I mean, how did they bump him? How did the deer bump the guy? Was it like a fist bump? Or like with his ass a little bit like a pop, in a cute, hey, what's up type of way? Was it like, hey, move aside, those bananas are for me? Was the deer trying to start something? Ever since the Swedish guy has been wandering around the forest, waiting to see the deer again so he can bump it, just get his blood back. The guy is fine in the end of the day, and he not only he's fine, but he also gave the funniest comment that I've ever seen in an article. He said, because of course they asked for a quote. You get asked for a quote when you get bumped by a deer. He said, "I was caught unaware." The most anticlimactic Swedish reaction I've seen in my entire life. Not shocked, just unaware. Like, the guy almost blamed himself. He was like, well, I should be aware that there's a deer there. I should be more self-aware of my space and the potential deers that are around. And I want to tell you, it's not your fault. And if you were walking around aware of deers as you are buying fruit in the supermarket, you'd have a bigger problem. That would be worse. You'd be the crazy one. I mean, to be fair, you would have avoided the attack. So I also see where you're coming from. Anyhow, so the guy is fine. He just got a few bruises. And that is because somebody else that was in the store at the time managed to retain the deer and hold it down. And the article was saying that they did a strange hold. Since when there are strange and not strange ways to hold the deer down? What did he do? Did he hold it by the ears, by the nose? Did he take the leg and just folded it behind the deer's back and hold it there like a police officer? It's just impressive. It's impressive he was able to react at all, honestly. I was so surprised and so impressed when I saw this. I was thinking, is that a thing that people know how to do? Is this a common skill that you need to have in Sweden? Do people learn that at school? Like, that's how you hold the pen, that's how you hold the baby, that's how you hold a deer. Well, it is a strange hold, but it works, so no worries. Okay, I'm afraid of wild animals. Sure, I'm not gonna go for a crazy hike. I'm gonna skip the forests, I'm gonna skip the lakes, I'm gonna skip the weird fields. But the supermarket, I have to go to the supermarket, I need stuff. So what about the deers? Well, you just have to be aware. You have to be aware. Most people are not. It's just me and also the guy who was every time I go to the supermarket, especially around the produce. It gave me a little bit of peace to know that, okay, that's the worst thing that can happen. You get bumped by a deer in the supermarket and here's the headline. What else? No bears. You don't see a bear. I haven't seen a bear. I can't imagine. I could not just even imagine about just coming to Sweden and going for a little hike, whatever, and seeing a bear. I can't. And and the crazy thing is, I think my first reaction would be to give her my wallet. Here, Mr. Bear, here. I have an old phone. I just have this old smartphone, but you can have this too. And I don't think that's gonna work, let me tell you. Maybe with a German bear. Maybe a German bear could be swung a little bit, with a little bit of cash, but the Swedish, a Scandinavian bear would never accept a bribe. So, thank God none of those things have happened. I've never seen a bear. I've seen a couple of deers, but never in the supermarket. And I've seen... One time I thought I saw a wolf. And I say this not because I don't know what I saw. I know what I saw. I just say that because nobody ever believed me that was actually a wolf. It was far away, so, I didn't exactly, we didn't lock eyes in front of the elevator. It was outdoors and it was night. I'm listening to myself. It definitely wasn't a wolf, but it really looked like a wolf. Could it be a deer? I don't know, how ripped can a deer be? If the deer is being lifting 200 at the bends, maybe it can come to a place where it has those super wide backs and this ripped chest, and it does look like an average wolf, but generally speaking, deer doesn't have access to gym, only to supermarket. So I was coming home at night and I was walking towards my place and I saw about maybe 20 meters far, this that looked like a wolf. And I was scared, I was shocked. But I don't know if you ever have this when something that you've been very much afraid of happens, that you're petrified, but also almost a little bit relieved in that you say, oh, it did happen. Okay, all of this time I was afraid for it's gonna be now, it's gonna be now, it's gonna be now. And now you're okay, it's now. Now is when I get eaten by the wild animal. Okay, I've been worrying about it every single day, but now that the time has come, I can relax. And, well, not enjoy, but you understand. And the animal runs away. I just stood there and was waiting for the next bus to come because people are gonna come out and, well, chances are somebody's gonna go in the same direction as me, so I can just do the honorable and brave thing and tag along, which is the coward's way of doing anything in this life, really. And the bus comes and people come out. And there is this one guy that is going towards the direction where I'm going, and I recognized him because we've been in the bus together very, very often. We use the same bus in close times. He's also a student, so I kind of know his face, even though we haven't spoken before. So I walk up to him and I say, well, I think I saw a wolf right there. And he was so chill about it. And I said, well, aren't you afraid? Do you not believe me? He said, no, I believe you. Okay, but if you believe me, then why are you not afraid? And he said, no, where I'm from, we have tigers. You've seen a tiger? Like, yeah, I've seen a tiger many times. Like, my first thought is, but how are you here? What? You shouldn't be here. If you've seen a tiger with your own eyes, if you've met a tiger, okay, you shouldn't be standing here. You should be in several places. For some reason, this gave me a lot of comfort, and I thought a tiger is like the final boss. A wolf is easier. I mean, for me, I die from both, but it makes sense that the wolf would be easier than the tiger. So if dude beats tiger and tiger beats wolf, then dude beats wolf. That was my thinking, basically. It was very fast and messy and kind of dirty, but so I started walking with the guy and we're going back and I'm looking around carefully to see if I'll see anything. And as I was walking, I started getting more and more upset and anxious because then I realized, wait a second, he told me that he's met a tiger. I assumed that he kind of won the fight or somehow tricked the tiger, that he kind of proved himself against this tiger. That was never said. So it's a very good chance that he just ran away while the tiger was eating his poor friend who was tagging along. So I don't know what kind of safety exactly I've promised myself in this scenario. So I'm walking with the guy and I'm getting more and more stressed. But thankfully there was nothing around and we made it to the door. I mean, I don't know if he's okay, if he's met more tigers. I left him okay. So I made it to my room and I spent all the night just thinking and researching because I am very confident that there is a solution about what happens when you meet a wolf. And regardless if I did or didn't really, I want to figure it out. I don't know what it is, but there has to be something, okay? This is this crazy belief that you can hack any situation. I don't know where this comes from, but I know I have it. So I was just researching online, trying to figure out what is this little secret magical solution that I didn't know, that I can make a sound like a ps ps, or like a or maybe burp. Maybe burp scares away wolves, or maybe some type of yodeling. None of those things work. I know I checked all of them, but there is one thing that actually works, and I found it, and here's what it is. If you see a wolf on the street, first check if it's a deer, but if it is a wolf, you can take your phone and play a siren, because siren scares the wolf away. And the next day, in the morning, I just ran to my flatmates, and I was like, with huge dark circles, like paranoid, crazy, looking behind my back everywhere, like, guys, there's a wolf around here, but don't worry, I figured it out. If you see the wolf, just take your phone out and play a siren, you know, like a scary one for fire or the police. Like, don't do a chill one, because there are some sirens that are a little bit chill. Like, I think the French sirens are a little bit like, you know, like party. Don't do those. And everybody, of course, looked at me and was like, you did not see a wolf? That must have been a deer. Fine. I gave them the knowledge, and now they have the knowledge. And, well, if they don't want to believe me and they prefer to be caught unaware, well, it's out of my hands. So this is my experiences with animals, or at least so far. I have a whole different chapter about snakes, but this is gonna have to be its own episode, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for listening again, and hey, you are, I don't know, you're doing good. You're being nice for coming back here. You're a good chap. Thank you so much for watching this again. Stay safe, don't mess with deers, and see you next week.